Members, when each of us took the oath of office, we promised to uphold not just the laws and the Constitution, but the very principle of representative government, that every community in Texas deserves a voice here in this chamber. Public service is not about power, it's about stewardship. It's about recognizing that the seat we hold is not ours, but belongs to the people who sent us here. But increasingly, it feels as though our institutions and our leaders at both the federal and state levels have forgotten that. It feels as though they see themselves not as servants of the people, but as controllers of the machinery. I have been a representative for 232 days. In that time, the governor of this state has governed with such disdain and even contempt for the Texans I serve that he's never once felt the need to even afford their representatives so much as a conversation. That, members, is the sad state of our politics today. I stand here only as their voice in this chamber. This seat belongs to them, not to me. And yet he and his party do not respect them or their voice. That, members, is becoming the Republican approach to governance. Not service to all Texans, but contempt for the communities they do not value. This resolution takes that same philosophy and writes it into our rules. It says if your community elects someone who uses the constitutional tools available to defend their constituents, the majority can punish that community by stripping its resources, wiping away its seniority, and silencing the influence in this House. The effect is not discipline for a member, it's disenfranchisement for the people who sent them here. This is what happens after 30 years of one-party rule. Power begins to see itself as its own justification. Instead of persuasion, it uses punishment. Instead of debate, it uses discipline. Instead of respecting every Texan's voice, it silences those who dare to dissent.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Tinderholt, for what purpose?
Respectfully, will the gentleman yield for questions?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
Not at this time, I'm almost done.
Not at this time.
That is not leadership. That is what happens when government forgets that it exists to serve all Texans, not just those in the majority party. There is a difference between service and power. Service is humble. Power is arrogant. Service respects every community. Power erases the ones it dislikes. Service listens. Power silences. We as Democrats have stood time and time again to defend the right of every Texan to be heard in this House. That is the contrast before us today. Republicans have chosen power. We choose service. Let us remember, quorum requirements are not a loophole. They are written in our Constitution. They exist to ensure that the majority cannot steamroll the minority unchecked. To punish the use of that constitutional safeguard is to punish the Constitution itself. Members, Texans deserve leaders who rise above partisanship, who value service over power, principle over retaliation, and respect over raw force. This resolution fails that test. It is not about protecting this institution, it's about protecting one party's grip on power. And for the sake of our democracy and for the dignity of this House, I urge you to reject it.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Tinderholt, for what purpose?
Will the gentleman yield for questions?
Will the gentleman yield for questions? The gentleman yields.
Thank you for answering my questions. So I hear you talk about duty. Where is your normal place of duty? Where is your place of duty that you're expected to be on a daily basis for quorum? Where would that be?
Representative Tinderholt, the maps that were before this House, as I said in my remarks against it, were the most segregated by skin color.
I didn't ask that. With all due respect,
you asked me about my duty, sir.
Where is your duty?
You asked me about my duty.
Where is your place of duty?
Members,
when we come to work, where do we go?
the members will refrain from speaking over each other so that the rest of the body can hear the debate between the front and back mic.
With respect, where is our place of duty? When you come to work in Austin, where are we supposed to be when we do quorum?
Representative Tinderholt, the maps that were before this body, which was the cause of the quorum break, were the most segregated maps that this state, that this institution, that this House has seen since the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
Where's our place of duty?
And I'll tell you, it was my duty, sir, to stand up against that injustice. The injustice that you and your party are inflicting on the people of Texas, that you refuse to acknowledge that there are Latinos, there are blacks in this state that deserve equal representation, but you, sir, feel entitled to have 3 times the representation as Latinos in this state. You feel entitled to have 5 times the representation as
The
black
members will
residents in this
refrain
state.
from engaging in personalities.
Are you saying that blacks, Hispanics, and Asians are all Democrat? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Sir, this isn't about party.
No, I'm asking-
It's not
that's
about
what you said.
Republicans or Democrats. I told you as in my remarks, the maps that you passed give white Texans 3 times the political power as Latinos, regardless of party, and 5 times to African Americans in this state. That is what you and your party stand up for and passed in this House.
Pointing at me doesn't help any. I asked a simple question.
You asked me for my duty and I gave you an answer.
Where is your place of duty on a normal daily basis?
Just because you didn't like the answer doesn't
Okay,
mean you
then
have
where
to keep
were
asking
you?
the same
Let me ask
question.
this. Where were you during the days that we were not able to make
I
quorum?
was fulfilling my duty, Representative Tinderholt.
Where?
You may have forgotten yours, but I have not forgotten
I'm
mine.
asking, out of respect, I'm going to follow the rules and I'm not going to engage in personalities with you. But
Representative, I wish you the best of luck
where,
in your election for county commissioner.
where were you? What state?
What does it matter?
Because
I'm telling you, I was fulfilling my duty, sir. I was
right.
telling you that I was letting my constituents know about the abhorrent map that you and your party passed.
let me
and
get-
that, sir, and I wasn't on vacation. I didn't take a day off. I was working every single day for the people it is I serve, Representative Tinderholt. You may not like that, and we can disagree, but that's the sad state of our politics.
So
That is the sad state
here's
state
the
of
real
our politics.
question I wanted to get to before you started pointing and acting like a narcissist. So here's where I want to go. Here's where I want to go. $221 a day to be in Austin at the Capitol. That's almost $4,000. Are you going to pay taxpayers? Because you weren't here in Austin, you were in another state. $221 is the per diem according to the state, and you weren't even here. Are you going to personally pay taxpayers back for stealing? I asked a question. Are you going to pay taxpayers back for stealing money from them?
You and I both know.
Are you going to pay the taxpayers the $3,978 you owe them for stealing because you were not in Austin and that per diem is for Austin, $221
Let me
a
tell you
day?
this,
Are you going to pay it back, yes or no?
You and I both know.
Are you going to
and
pay
this
it back, yes or no?
Representative, do you want an answer to your question or not?
Members, please engage in respectful debate.
Let's say this. The people of Texas are really fed up with politicians, Representative
You
Tinderholt.
stole money. Are you going to pay it back?
Let me tell you this. There are people on both sides of the aisle who sit here.
The members will refrain from engaging in personalities.
There are representatives who on both sides of the aisle, both Republicans and Democrats, who sit in this chamber, collect the $221 whatever, and aren't and about as useful. They're about as useful as the chairs that they sit on.
You weren't even in the state. You were not
They
even
don't
in the
make any
state.
contributions. So if the value to you, Representative Tinderholt, is based on sitting in this chamber and earning $221, well, then I wish your future constituents in Tarrant County the best of luck, because that's the kind of representative that they're going to get, is somebody who just values their service by sitting in this chamber collecting the $200.
Are you going to pay taxpayers the $221 you stole at almost $4,000?
Members will refrain from engaging in personalities and impugning the motives of the body.
Are you
Mr.
going to
Speaker,
pay? I'll ask one more time. $3,978 is the total for 18 days. I don't know how many you were gone. Are you going to pay the state and your taxpayers back for taking that money? Yes or no?
Representative, as I said in my remarks, that money is being used to intimidate and silence
I feel like you
representatives.
stole
And you know
from
what?
taxpayers,
I will
and it's
glad-
despicable that you stole from taxpayers.
Representative, I hope you got your soundbite.